dark side.
Just kidding. Welcome to the Let's Ruin It podcast. Here we are, where we take your favorite pop culture media, like, can you guess what we're gonna do? We put a legal spin on it, and like all lawyers, we ruin it. Welcome to 1977, folks, with the premiere of Star Wars. Dun, dun, dun. I am one of your hosts, Liz. You can tell I am the most excited about this because these two really are not.
I don't even know what movie we're doing. To be honest.
Welcome to Miss Jenny. Girl.
Hi, I'm Jenny.
Hi,
May
I'm
the fourth be
Diana.
with you.
Yes,
That's all I
same,
know.
ditto with that.
Dragging, kicking, and screaming to do this movie, people. And
Well,
for this reason,
that's right.
we invited a special guest because they're not into it, not like I am. Please welcome to our special guest. Introduce yourself, shall you?
Hi, my name's Alex. I'm Diana's husband. I'm a lawyer and Star Wars fan. I'm better at the latter than the former, but I'll do my best.
But that's why he's qualified to be here.
Yes.
He didn't
Correct.
just bring in any sort of rando.
He has seen this movie a million times. I've now seen this movie twice, like 10 years
Oh my
apart.
God,
and
Diana,
one of them
really?
was last night, and I was like, I need to bring up backup, you know?
We needed an expert.
Yeah, I need an expert.
I need
And
someone
you
that
were
can
up.
roll with
Yeah.
me and we dragged him kicking and screaming, folks, but
He's really psyched to be here.
you know.
Yeah.
I know
First time
we're
on
gonna get
camera.
comments
First time
on
on
this.
camera, yeah.
We're definitely gonna get comments on this.
Alex,
because-
you're like a Nepo baby.
Oh my God,
I
you're
guess,
a Nepo
yeah.
husband.
You are.
That's right. This is like, he didn't earn his spot here. He
are.
just married into a spot here.
Well, you know what?
This
Hold
is
on
a
a minute.
long-term plan.
Yeah, it's a long
We'll
con.
be the judge of that, whether he earned his spot
That's
here.
true,
You gotta
that's
like
true.
earn your keep. You gotta give us your expert opinions on things,
You
and
get one thing wrong about Star Wars, you're banished.
you're out. You're out.
That won't happen, don't worry.
No, you're good, we're fine.
So we're doing
start,
this.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. Let me start out by setting the scene, okay? So we open up and woo, we see the ships flying through the galaxy, okay?
No, hold on. First, you got
There's
the
like
letter
all the words,
scrolling.
and you have to, like, follow the words.
Scrolling. Do I really
I
have to?
thought you were a fan.
In a
I am
galaxy
fan,
far,
but in a
far
galaxy
away.
far, far away.
And then
blah,
other
blah.
words.
You guys haven't seen that by now? I mean,
And other words, right?
Other
And-
words happen, and I don't forget. What are they telling us? What's the backstory?
It's a time of rebellion.
Rebellion.
It's a time of bad stuff.
there's the rebels, they're rebelling against the Empire, who's
It's our
got a
expert.
chokehold over the universe, okay? They're basically, I don't even know how to describe them, but they're a tyranny, basically.
Tyranny.
It's an empire.
Yeah.
Can I just
Totally.
say, we've been doing this podcast for like, what, over a year now? I have never seen you this fired up.
I
You
know.
are so excited.
This is your clueless. This is her clueless.
This is an exciting movie. This is an exciting movie. I was
Yeah.
5 when this movie came out.
Oh, really?
Okay, so I was a youngster. And yeah, no,
you go
none of
see
you
it in
were
the
born.
theater?
No.
Shut up. None of you were born. I get it. Okay, fine. I was 5. It was exciting. Notice the homage to Leia. I really went.
Do you remember when it came out? Did you go to the theater? Like, were kids going?
I remember my husband, who's the same age as me.
Yeah.
He remembers he went probably 3 times that summer.
Wow.
I didn't go that
goodness.
much. My parents weren't taking me more than once. Forget that. But he was very, very excited about it. So, and still is. Collected all the little collectible figures. You know,
Oh,
when
so
he was
did
growing
Alex.
up. Yeah.
I wasn't around then.
No, he was.
No, I mean,
not.
since then.
I mean
yeah.
the original.
Also a
okay,
baby.
the original.
You should
I will
you should
say
be
this,
retired
though.
by now if
You
you
should
have
be
all those
retired,
things.
Yeah, they could just sell them and then live off the
Which
proceeds.
they would have had his mother not given them away.
Oh my God! Ask Alex about a
To
really
someone.
good magic card.
I could do an
Yes.
entire episode about shit we had when we were young that
Yeah.
was given away, and so someone else is
That's
getting rich, not us.
terrible.
piece of the Berlin Wall. Like,
I'm telling you.
And so here you are. You're a lawyer and you do a podcast because someone gave your husband's
Star Wars.
Star Wars
away.
shit away.
could have been
I know.
somebody.
I know. You know, I go to collectible stores now with my kids, and the prices on these things makes me want to
Makes you
cry.
really sad.
Yeah, for real. For real.
So we are doing this because today the episode's coming out on May 7th, but as all the Star Wars fans know, May the 4th,
May the
it's a
4th be
holiday.
with you.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I recognize
More into
October
it.
3rd as a holiday.
October 3rd is important to me. Yes,
Right.
but it's on October 3rd. He asked what day it was. It's
That's right.
October 3rd.
It was October 3rd.
Right.
Things like May the 4th, like, yeah, I get it. I will chuckle at a meme about it. No.
Yeah.
Whatever, this is your thing.
No, it's a big thing.
It's
But
your
we
thing.
want to give this
It's a
to
big
you,
thing.
and we wanted to
Yes.
give you backup.
This is
So-
a giant, giant movie in the lexicon of movies, okay? Like,
No, agreed.
And
Agreed.
So you weren't around when this movie came out. When did you discover Star Wars?
I mean, when I was really young, I remember we got the VHS box set that had like the Vader on the side. I think everyone owned that for a
nice.
while.
We had that too.
And at one time, I remember I was this is like my earliest memory. I remember going into a Best Buy and they had the they had the giant room with the big screen and like the surround sound everywhere.
Oh, that's cool.
And like the snow scene from Empire was playing on that, and I was like, oh, this is my life now. This is what I'm doing.
And I okay, we're not supposed to be doing this, but just because you mentioned it, which movie is your favorite of the original three?
Empire.
Yeah,
course.
that's why my husband says that too.
Yeah.
Empire's
Which
the
one's
best.
that one?
The second
second
one.
one.
Strikes
The one
Back,
that you were
the second
supposed to
one.
rewatch for this
It
episode.
comes-
I figure I saw the first one last night. The second one probably is the same thing.
My husband says the same thing. It's the darkest movie, but it's the best one.
Is it?
Well,
Yeah.
isn't it considered just generally across the board? Empire Strikes Back is considered like
Yes.
a cinematic masterpiece.
I
out
would
of all
say
of them.
out of all of them, it probably is the
Now,
best.
for someone who was not a Star
fan?
Wars person, what do you call yourselves? Like Star Trek or Trekkies? What do you
Yeah, Star Wars or what?
Star Warsians?
Jedi's?
Huge nerds.
Huge nerds. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what we
I'll
call
take
them
it.
too.
I think most people that are into they just say that they're a Jedi.
Oh,
Probably.
do you
But
say
there's
that?
no
I
there's
haven't
no
yet.
But now you're going to.
There's
You're
no
gonna start.
Trekkie name for it.
You guys need to adopt a name.
So, for someone who never really was into it growing up, and so for someone, I obviously know all about it from like the pop culture perspective and the Luke, I am your father, spoiler alert, guys.
That is wrong, Jenny. That is not the line.
What does he say? Oh, he,
He
doesn't
does
say
not
Luke. He just
say
says,
that.
I am your father.
It is the best misheard
Yes.
line ever.
It's the butterfly
He just
effect.
says, I am your
The Mandela
father.
effect.
The Mandela effect. Yes,
Yes.
the Mandela effect. In any case, the point is that when I watch it as an adult, as not a huge fan, it just doesn't hit, right? Like the graphics are nowhere
Like-
near as good as graphics are
Well,
nowadays.
they did reboot them. I mean,
Sure.
George Lucas did revamp them and
But
re-release them.
explain to me, what is the cinematic masterpiece? Like, what is
Yeah, what is
what
making
is
it
everyone
so
in love
special?
with this for? Yeah.
I mean, pretty much everything about it. I think I was
Yeah.
telling her last night when we were watching, like, I think the graphics hold up amazingly well because
think
it was
so, too,
because it
considering when
was
they were
models,
done.
it was real things.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you look at like Lawnmower Man or something from the '90s, and it looks like it was made by.
Lawnmower Man.
You guys will do
Listen,
it later. Don't worry.
I'm
It's a
telling
movie.
you.
It looks like the cartoon graphics were done by like a 5-year-old, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this movie, because they used real stuff, like it aged pretty well. I think.
Because they don't
He is-
make movies like that anymore.
No, I think he's 100%
Well, 'cause
right.
now it's
but
just
then
No, not
they
really.
launched
Yeah.
Lucasfilms, like they became the
I mean,
go-to
huge.
people
Yes.
to do the graphics for all movies
So this
because they
wasn't
were such
CGI,
pioneers.
right? Now you just
no.
CGI it up.
Originally,
Now
no, but
there's
they
all that.
added some in the
Yeah.
special release.
And there's like
Yeah.
kind of like a girl power aspect to this because
100%.
weren't you telling me something about like his wife basically like saved everything? Or, like,
Yeah, George
fixed
Lucas's
it?
wife, it was a very renowned editor, and she turned this movie, I believe it was a steaming pile of garbage, like into
Wow.
a very good, very well edited movie, and I think she went on to win Academy Awards.
Well,
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you,
Girl power.
Diana, what I was gonna say. What got me into it was Leia was a really strong character. She was not like, oh, save me.
Right, she
crap.
wasn't like-
She was a senator.
She was like a princess who wasn't
she was a princess,
Cinderella.
but she
She
was a
was-
senator. She was heading up the part of the rebellion.
She talked
She
back.
stole that. Yeah, absolutely. She stood up to Vader in the very first scene.
Yes.
basically.
She made fun of Luke as soon as she saw her rescue mission.
110%. 110%. She wasn't fucking around, okay? Like, she was the empowerment for me.
That's-
Like,
yeah.
and I wanted to be just like her. Hence the buns,
Hence
okay?
the buns.
I wore the buns for legit, guys. Like,
Very
this
happy.
is my sad second attempt at recreating it, and now
I
in
think
my
she nailed
50s,
it. She nailed it. Yeah.
It was hard. I don't have the same level of hair. When I was a kid, I had way more hair. So I had some legit bun action going on.
Great.
So let's dive into it then.
Legal.
We're here to ruin
Let's
it,
ruin it.
right?
Mhm.
Let's ruin it. I mean, let's start with Leia
I
and Luke.
can't ruin it.
Oh,
Leia and Luke.
you got to do it with love,
Okay.
right?
Now we're not going to talk about like everything that happened in like the prequels or anything like that about
Well, I
what we
think
now know about their
But I think
I
some of
might.
it.
He might.
But I think some of it
I'll make
we
some
have
stuff
to
up.
talk about it because
It all comes together in the story, right.
But I mean, Luke and Leia are twins, separated at birth.
But they don't know that.
They don't
But
know
they
that.
don't know that.
So you are pulling in from other movies already, Jenny.
And they don't know
I
that
know, but
throughout
it's-
this whole movie. Like I was surprised
No.
when the movie ended. I was like,
And there's
hold
this,
up, they still
there's
don't know.
tension,
They don't
right?
know.
They think that they're into each other.
No,
but,
because it
they
seems
feel
like
the
she's
force.
more
yeah,
into
it's,
like
it's a
Han.
little creepy because
But he's into her for sure. Like Luke
sure.
is really
But
into
because
Leia. And I'm
he's
like,
feeling
ew.
the force, right? He's feeling the strength of the force, and he doesn't understand why. He doesn't
Right.
realize that it's his sister.
He's like, ooh,
So-
I shared a womb with you. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Right. I mean, Parent Trap situation. No.
It's totally like the Parent Trap. It actually is like the Parent Trap because they were separated as babies and
were.
raised separately and don't know that the other exists. It is
That's
the Parent
true.
Trap.
Oh my
It
god.
is, but hold on. Leia gets sent to a very wealthy family, right? and Luke gets sent to the freaking boondocks
Like, there's, like,
somewhere.
But
desert.
technically, he gets sent to the only people that are actually relatives, okay? Because Uncle Owen is his dad's brother.
Oh, so he is Darth?
I don't think he is.
No, is he Darth's brother?
I think he's like a cousin or something, or like maybe one of those like uncles that like is
I'm
friends
not
of the
talking about
family, but not
uncle.
like a real uncle.
I'm talking about, oh God, now I'm blanking out on his name.
I thought his dad
Help
wasn't his
help
dad.
me.
His dad is. I don't
It's
want to
Darth
spoil
Vader.
it. Yeah,
His
he's
dad
Darth
is
No, I
Vader.
don't think you can spoil it. If
Yeah.
you haven't
I
seen
know,
Star Wars
listen,
yet,
1977,
spoiler.
we are not spoiled. Oh no, it's okay. So Owen
Is the son of
is actually
Lieg.
Oh no, okay. So it's actually relative on mom's side.
Anakin's
Anakin's
mother's
stepbrother.
Stepbrother.
Yeah, Anakin. That's the name I
Uh-huh.
wasn't coming up with.
So Darth Vader.
Yes.
Anakin is Darth Vader?
I hate you right now. Oh my God, do I hate you right now?
Okay, so that's how that ended up happening, and then he like grows up in like
I
this desert
personally
area.
just
which, like,
love that her
sucks.
name is Aunt Peru. Yeah, he's on this crap ass desert planet,
Like, it
Tatooine.
really
Right,
looked
and
like.
so,
ugh.
well,
And wait, can we talk? I need to find out. They're moisture farmers. What
does
in
that
the
mean?
hell is
I
that?
understand.
What's
That's
a
not
moisture
right.
farmer?
It doesn't make a ton of sense because
You're
they
farming
have worlds that are just
water?
water.
Like,
Can I ask you a question? Are there things that do make sense?
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah,
List
but this
them.
part does not make sense, right?
He's
What?
very whiny.
He's. I
That
gotta
makes-
say,
that makes
Luke
sense.
is? Luke is very
Yeah, that
I
makes
did
sense
not
for
like
him.
Luke the whole time. I was like, this. I know. I was like, he's such a whiny bitch. I was like, he's such a twerp. Like every
is.
single scene, I was like,
He's a weenie. He
hate
is.
this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no offense to Mark Hamill because I've
Well,
heard
first
he's,
of all,
I
makes
love
sense.
Mark
he's
Hamill.
a lovely person.
I think he's
apparently.
hilarious.
I've only heard great things about him.
he's awesome.
But that character sucks.
Hold
Well,
on.
he's supposed
I
to
want
be.
you.
It's
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
I want you to list
He
the things
grows
that
up,
make
though.
sense. I want Alex
List
to list
everything?
the things. Like, give me like a sampling.
But remember, he's also 18, right, Alex?
Something like
he's
that.
like
Yeah,
So is
18
Leia,
years old.
and
Wait,
she
are
is
you
running
really?
an
Yeah, she's
empire or
running
something.
the show.
I don't know.
But, okay, but she grew up royal.
Hold
so
on, they're
compare
18 in these
royalty.
movies?
I
They
think he's
look
like, I
like
think he's like
full-grown
20. I
adults.
think he might be like 20.
They're young.
How
Yeah.
old is Harrison Ford?
He's like 35.
50.
No, okay, nah.
He's hot though
Wait,
in this.
hold on, Diana. You and I are gonna have to
Yeah,
confess
but
something.
Carrie Fisher, the actress
Yeah.
who played Leia, was like 19.
Right.
Was she
But
really?
I
She
just want to point out
absolutely
this
was.
is such a great example of like how girls mature faster than boys
Yeah.
because they are twins, and this one is like a little man baby, like
Yeah,
and,
man
and
baby.
she is like running a government and like
Yeah, and she's
talking back to Darth
19.
Vader, and
But
she's like,
but think about it.
she's a
Parallel it
boss
with
bitch,
now.
you know?
Okay, but think about it like in terms of our like see the royal family in England, right? Those kids are mature as hell.
Mm-hmm. That's
they
true.
look like they're not normal kids
'Cause they've
they
been
are
trained.
They are raised. They are trained to take over the
All right.
you know to
So
the
let's
roles.
let's bring it back to the Parent
So-
Trap conversation.
So she's raised differently.
They set Leia up for an amazing life,
Okay.
and Luke is a whiny little bitch.
Okay, but I don't really know that they were planning that far ahead.
Listen, when your father is Darth Vader and you're trying to hide the
You're
children from
hiding.
Darth Vader, you gotta think this through. I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, it's weird because like Leia's dad
right.
is like a fairly well-known guy. So if he just showed up with a daughter one day out of nowhere,
Leia's adoptive dad.
yeah, the exact
Spoiler
same
alert,
day.
Jimmy Smits.
Yeah,
Yes,
Jimmy
Jimmy
Smits.
Smits.
Jimmy Smits.
Super cool, yeah.
The exact same day they murdered all the Jedi. You'd think like maybe the Emperor being kind of smart would like put two and two together
Yeah.
that maybe she's like important, but they kind of just didn't. She just showed up out of nowhere.
So
We're
like not to
talking
delve
about-
in, and this is a prequel, right? That this comes out like
Well,
the
they
whole Jimmy Smits thing?
they split them up. You know, we kind of know that.
And
Right,
so
right,
hold on,
but-
so they
but-
split them up so that Darth can't feel the Force between them? Is that the idea?
Yeah, why did they
More
split
or
them
less,
up?
yeah. Well, so to hide them.
Well, because they basically told them that the kids died.
Right.
Like in
childbirth.
In
yeah.
childbirth.
By the
Like,
way,
they-
the
they-
mom, she dies in childbirth
Natalie Portman.
of
Padme.
giving up. She just gives up.
yeah. Did you know
Of
that?
giving
That's the
up?
medical reason given for her
She
death.
gave up on life because she's just sad.
She's
so
sad.
she just dies, even though she just gave birth to twins. Apparently, that's not enough to live for. There was no actual medical complication.
She was sad.
She was
That's
sad.
really sad.
But that's also like
Well,
a very weird.
Be careful. I hear that kills you.
Yes. Like literally, when I found that out, because I've not seen the prequels, I have no interest in that. But like I was like, when I found that out, I was like, that is the plot that they went with. Was she just gave up on life because she's sad? Ugh.
So wait. So and again, I'm jumping
It was
jumping out of
I tend to think it was a heartbreak situation.
But
She
you
was
don't die
devastated-
from that.
I'm sorry. She was devastated by the fact that Anakin had become Darth Vader.
She just gave birth to twins,
And
and that
became
wasn't enough for her to live for.
evil, and killed all the Jedi
All the
babies.
chi- all the
That is the
children.
By the
It
way,
was
I know
so
we're pulling
sad.
in.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know that
Yeah,
we're pulling
sorry.
in from the other
Yeah.
movies. It was
He kills all
horrible.
the babies.
That is
Yes.
the worst part
Now,
of Revenge of the
well,
Sith.
I will never watch those movies now because that's
No,
like my benchmark of
he-
whether I watch a movie.
right.
Like, does
Oh,
a baby
as-
die?
it killed me.
As
Killed
he's
me.
turning evil, one of his big things is to go and he destroys the like Jedi complex school
Yeah, the temple,
of
yeah.
the temple, right? So again, I know we were only supposed to talk about Empire Strikes Back, but it's impossible because all of these things are
Or
connected.
the first one, whatever.
I
Star
don't
Wars
know which one it is.
Part one.
Diana, stop asking detailed questions.
Go on. Go on.
So-
Where are we going with this?
I was going to say that
going somewhere?
Natalie Portman and Anakin Skywalker,
Yeah, okay.
isn't she like way older than him?
Why are you mixing apples
Yeah,
and
but
oranges
they meet.
right
They
now?
meet in the first movie.
She is older.
She's like 20 and he's like 4. Like,
That's
I don't
disgusting.
Really know.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
real young. He's real little.
That's like
Why
a,
did they have to do it that way?
And she calls him
they
Annie.
did. They didn't.
Why did they do this?
George Lucas is weird. I don't know.
I
what else
don't
to say.
know.
But also, those prequels were made obviously in our modern time. I say that
Mm-hmm. Right.
because 1970s was 50 years ago. So wasn't that weird for them
that'd
to
be
do
fighting
that?
words.
Fighting words.
Fighting words.
I know.
Yikes.
Why couldn't he have made Anakin? I don't know, 15, 16,
Yeah. The
18.
The
I
nerds,
don't know.
the nerds are 20 years ahead of you on this one. Like there was no reason.
this is
There was no
apparent.
reason to ever see him as a baby. There was no reason for that movie
So
to exist.
you need to jump on those nerd message boards
Yeah,
and
get
give
on-
them
get on
your
Reddit. Come
2
on.
cents.
Are you kidding? They're gonna destroy me.
They will. They will. Don't.
They will,
they?
especially if you're going to come in and half-ass it, not for nothing.
Oh no, I would never. I'd have to bring Alex with me.
Okay, according to ChatGPT, there's only about a 4 to 5 year difference between them. Padme
No,
is
that
about
can't be
24 and Anakin's about 19 when they're in the Attack of the Clones. Which, by the way, did you see the cartoons, Alex?
So do they just
So much better, right?
Yes.
The cartoons, by the way, guys, so
They're
much
so
better.
do they just?
Attack of
No.
the Clones. Yeah.
The Clone Wars. Yeah.
Clone Wars.
I don't know.
Yeah,
He's like,
way
duh,
better.
the Clone Wars.
Oh my God, my kid is obsessed with the Clone Wars. He
I don't
thinks
know.
it's the best
Wait.
thing
I
ever.
will say that our son is also very much already obsessed with Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and I brought his Star Wars water bottle.
Which is absolutely the coolest
Isn't
thing.
that super cool?
Super cool.
And yeah, he already loves it and knows way more. Like he could have been a guest host.
So
to
let's.
this. Like,
This is actually this is
Isn't that
actually
beautiful?
pretty friggin' legit.
Wait,
you got
so they
you got the
meet
Boba
when he's a
Fett.
kid?
his friends.
You got Leia.
Felix
You've got
and
you've got C-3PO and R2D2, Chewie,
Green guy.
Greedo.
Oh.
Guys, let's focus. Focus.
Okay. All right.
Speaking of Greedo,
Okay.
let's get to
Wait,
the
let's
actual-
actually get. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's just
Hold
start
on.
with the first big
Yeah.
thing that I thought was legally problematic was when they destroyed that entire planet.
Alderaan.
That was the first thing.
Alderaan.
I mean,
that
well,
was-
there's a lot of like shooting
there's
at
a
each
lot.
other, right? There's
There's a
fighting.
lot.
When you first open, like the scene opens, everyone's fighting.
Well,
Well, I mean,
before
they-
that though, okay, Darth Vader takes Leia, holds her prisoner just because he suspects she's part of the rebellion. And she's a senator. Like, so she's got some power.
But when in times of war, like
And,
there's
and he
Well-
does not know that she's his daughter, right?
No,
No.
Okay.
he does not.
They do. I mean, they bring that up. They say the Senate's gonna, fuck you up over this.
She
But then
does.
He just
She does.
well, then the Emperor just dissolves the Senate.
Right.
So that they take care of that pretty quickly.
Right.
yeah. But I guess it's like if you think
But,
about it,
I
like,
mean,
in
technically-
wartime, you're taking.
But it's not wartime.
Isn't it wartime?
No, I think it's just like a rebellion.
It's a rebellion.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not a declared war.
War. And also picture what they're fighting against and what she stole. She stole the plans for the Death Star, which is intended only to blow up a planet.
I mean,
So-
based on the name alone.
Is
Yeah.
wait, is Death Star a weapon?
Yeah.
It's a,
what is
yeah,
it?
it's a
I'm
space
so-
station with a big gun.
I am so like just out of my out of my element
I don't
here.
even know. Okay, so, but
blew up Alderaan, which was Leia's planet.
right. So let's talk about that. Legal
Wait,
issues.
Leia blows it up, or who
No,
blows it up?
someone else.
No.
I think Darth.
My husband would be so
the Death Star,
disappointed.
It was
Tarkin.
it was the Empire. They were testing it, and they showed her how they blew up her whole planet.
So everyone she knows, her family, her Jimmy Smiths, everyone on that planet.
R.I.P. Jimmy Smits. Like,
I know.
what up?
He
Not
didn't even
cool.
know. He didn't even know he was on that planet. But
know.
later on.
But wait, why do they destroy an entire
Yeah.
planet?
To make a point.
And is that
That's
is that a
very-
legal justification? I don't think so.
No.
That's very Thanos of them.
Very.
Yeah. Well, they're trying
Well,
to. They're
the
trying
point
to.
is to show that the Empire's evil, right?
So Darth walked so Thanos could run.
Pretty much.
Is
yeah.
that
And
the
what are they trying to do?
Well, they're torturing her to get the location of
Yeah,
their base.
of the rebel
and
base.
They're like, if you don't tell us, we're going to blow up your whole planet, which is like the next step in the evolution of the torture there.
and Tough Chick goes,
She calls their bluff.
Exactly.
Well, she lies. She tells them the wrong planet.
Okay.
And then they.
Oh yeah, what was the planet she told them?
Dantooine.
Dantooine.
And then even with
That's
that,
not where they are.
even with that, they're like, "That's great. We'll check there later." But we're already here, and the gun is like warming up, so we might
We
as
might as
well.
well just destroy your planet anyway.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is
I
real fun.
mean,
Anyway, so those
a
are
war crime.
war crimes.
certainly.
I have war crimes.
Absolutely war crimes.
against humanity under U.S. and international law. I put down that the destruction
Under
of the
US
entire planet and
international
its
law.
population would be considered genocide and mass murder, and I agree.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
Exactly.
I mean, they took out entire people, like an
Yeah.
entire
Race.
Yeah,
race
so-
of people.
so-
Right?
so
There's a race
yeah,
of people.
that's a little bit of a genocide.
That's
yeah.
a little bit of it's quite a genocide.
Little bit.
So that's illegal.
I mean, I think in the beginning there's like a
Doing
whole
their
bunch.
jobs.
There's a whole bunch leading up to that I think
Okay,
also
let's-
would.
yeah, what
well,
do you
like
want-
the first thing they do is they murder his whole family 1st.
Who? Luke's family?
Luke's family.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was really sad.
That
They
wasn't
did with
great.
the skeletons and stuff. Yeah.
Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru. Ugh.
Ugh.
Alex
Yeah,
said
and she was
that
shocked.
wasn't good.
She was shocked about how gory that was. I didn't even know how to remember.
I was just like the charred bodies, and I was like, kids watch this movie? Like, I don't know. It seems like a little like
We did.
intense.
That's why Gen X is the way we are.
I know it's true. You guys really saw some shit.
Listen, we also saw the Challenger explode in front of our faces
That's
on
true.
TV and
right.
class.
In the middle
so
of-
this
in
just
the
this
middle of
just
science class.
this prepared you for that.
This was just a continuation.
That's crazy. By the way. Yeah. It's crazy.
But yeah, after they kill his whole family, they go they go to the wretched hive of scum and villainy. They go to Mos Eisley, and
No, you can't underplay that, Alex. Cannot underplay
Oh, you want
that.
to do it with the dramatic
I have
reading?
to. Mos Eisley, never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. That is what Obi-Wan says about them. Cool as hell. Mos Eisley was just a den of sin and inequity. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say.
I
You've
agree.
got,
Oh,
you've
it's like
got
New Jersey.
smugglers. You've got
But I'm-
bounty hunters. You've got prostitutes. All kinds of people from all over the galaxy hanging out there. That is where I would hang out. They had some pretty cool music, actually.
This is that's that like nightclub they go to.
It was.
right. When we saw that, I was like, "Is this a brothel?"
Oh,
It
it
seems
is.
like a brothel.
It's a
So
whole
that
lot of
looks
fun.
like a fun place.
It's a whole
You're
lot
allowed
of
to
fun.
kill people and no one even bats an eye.
And that's where
Self-defense.
we meet.
Self-defense.
Who do we?
Like New
Who do we
Jersey.
meet? Who do we meet?
Han Solo.
Thank you.
Yes, I got a question right.
Han Solo.
I'm an expert at Star Wars.
So
Who
Diana
not for
and I,
nothing is so cute.
Diana and I have a confession to make. Up until today, we thought his name was Hans Solo,
I'm gonna die.
as in the guy from Frozen.
In my defense,
That was Hans.
up until
No.
today, Jenny thought that. For me, I found out yesterday because at some point they're like Han, and I was like, I looked at Alex, I was like, wait, his name's Han, not Hans, and he just
Because
laughed and
everyone,
laughed.
because everyone always says Han Solo, so
Right,
it's just
Han
kind
Solo.
of.
And Hans is an
It's
actual
like,
name.
Wait,
So
it's like Long Island.
Like
yeah, it's the land of long guys.
yeah, Long Island. And Alex being from Long Island can speak to that as well.
I can hear Han Solo because of my Long Island.
Yeah,
That's right. Correct.
Yeah, I was really surprised because everyone else has kind of like normal names, like in terms of the humans, like it's like Luke, Leia, like these are normal names. And then
Darth.
it's
For
like
the most part.
Obi-Wan.
Owen.
Darth is not his name.
Yoda.
Oh my god.
Well, Yoda's not a human, and also
oh,
spoiler
sorry.
alert, there's no Yoda in this movie, and I was really disappointed when
Hold
it
on a
ended. I was like,
second.
"Where's
Did I watch the
Yoda?"
wrong movie?
I think so.
Maybe
You
you
guys-
did. What did you watch?
You guys sent me to watch Empire Strikes Back. That's what
No.
I
What
watched.
is that, you lunatic? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
You told me to watch the second one. Is
No,
Empire
we
Strikes Back?
didn't.
I'm gonna
my
pull up
We
the
said
text.
the original.
If this was a
I'm
group
gonna pull up the
project,
text
I'd be so
right
upset. It's like a group project.
Jenny
and not
gets an
integrate.
F.
Yeah.
Discuss
Thank God
amongst-
we're just gonna rely on these two to do all the work.
Discuss amongst yourselves.
Okay,
I'm gonna pull
it
up
was the
receipts.
first movie released, but
I'm
it's
gonna pull up-
actually
Jenny's
the
gonna go
fourth
take a call.
episode
I'm gonna
in
pull
the
up.
series.
You guys discuss. I'm gonna pull up receipts.
When
I
they
do
start-
not get assignments wrong.
Originally, they said to us Star Wars, right? That was the first one that came out in 1977. We didn't find out until they started releasing other movies. That was actually Episode 4. Then they started calling
I'm
it
so confused by
Episode
the whole
4:
thing.
A New Hope,
fine.
because then they did the
Apparently, I am
prequels.
too.
I don't understand anything, but I did see the movie that I think we were supposed to see.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yes, and so I was very surprised by that because everyone else has a normal name. But let's moving on to
Well,
more law.
Obi-Wan.
Excuse me.
You think Obi-Wan's a normal name?
Excuse me.
Isn't it like Ben?
Ben, yes.
He goes by
Well, he
Ben.
goes
Well,
by
that's a
Ben.
normal name.
Stop.
But it's-
Vindication. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
no.
gonna
Here
do
we go.
a dramatic reading of the group chat.
Here we go.
What day is this chat?
I don't.
If you're gonna enter it into evidence,
I said, April 24th. I'm entering it into
Send me a
evidence.
screenshot so we can put it in.
I'm doing it. I say, which, by the way, this entire group chat is in green. Thanks, Elizabeth. Okay?
Shut it now.
I say, which Star Wars are we watching?
She's a hater of the
Or-
Android. See?
He's
I'm
got
one
an
of them, I
Android.
know.
And I say, are we just discussing it in general? Diana says, I thought the original. Oh, then Diana said, although I'm having doubt on how it'll work with being in like a different galaxy unrelated to our reality.
The jurisdictional issues.
Jurisdictional
like,
issues alone,
What
I know.
jurisdiction?
Has that ever stopped us before?
True.
And then Liz says, just actual Star Wars from 77.
I said it. Thank you.
Wait, but then I said, hold on. I said, so the first one. Then I said, in which one do we find out Darth is the baby daddy? Liz responds,
The second one.
Empire Strikes Back the second. And I said, should I just rewatch that one then? And Liz said, yes, just that.
I think she thought you
No,
meant.
I thought I meant.
I think she thought that
Okay,
you meant
really?
that when you
I thought you guys were telling me that this was the most important one. I should just
no,
watch it.
because you said which one do you find out about baby daddy,
Now
and
I'm
she
really gonna
says
go,
Empire Strikes Back. But that was like a tangent from our original discussion where we say Star Wars from
I'm
77.
gonna die. Wait, we're having a tangent? Is anyone else surprised about this?
I'm sending
Look,
Josh the screenshot.
Alex does not stand for this tomfoolery. We have
This
to
is a real pro operation you guys are running.
Oh, Lord almighty. I don't know how much clearer I could be. Watch the original from 77.
You said
I
said
did
the
it.
second one?
I did
Yes,
it.
that one. I
That's
stand
not what I said.
All right,
It's
well,
fine. It's fine. It's fine. Let's bring it back around.
I'm
guys.
sure you could fake it. Just be like, yep, I saw this one. Anyway, legal issues. You were saying before we get to like the blowing up of this planet.
Yeah, so murdering the family,
That was bad. That was illegal.
then they get pulled over
Murder
by
bad.
they get pulled over by the cops, and he uses mind control on them.
Oh,
And
that's true.
Also,
We can't do that here, but I
haven't
assume it would be
you-
something.
You don't know who
Are
these
there
people
laws
are.
against that in the galaxy? You think?
That's interesting because I made a note about what are the Jedi laws because the Jedi have their own set of laws. So I
You're
don't.
not allowed to do that, strictly speaking.
I don't think you are.
Well, let's see if we can
Unless
analogize
it's-
it to here.
Right. Can I hypnotize a cop if I had those powers?
But it's not just
That'd be like
hypnotizing.
interfering with
Did you
an
say
interfering with an
mind
investigation.
reading? But you said mind reading.
Yeah,
No,
he,
it
it
was
was
mind
mind
control.
Mind
Yeah.
control.
Because he said to him like, no, you don't know who these people are. Like he was
Yeah,
like,
let us go.
Let us go.
Right.
That'd be cool.
It was pretty wild.
So I really have no idea what the legal ramifications of that would be because we don't really have
No, I
anything
think
akin
Alex
to
is
that.
right. It would
What?
be like obstruction of justice or
Obstruction
something.
of justice.
assuming the Empire is the
Is the
valid,
law.
the law
Okay,
here, which I
right.
think it
But
is.
wait, the Empire are the bad guys?
I
but
always
they
I had to
are-
ask
they
that
are
5
in
times while I
control.
was watching. I was like, the Empire is the bad one? I don't like I can't.
And you watched the correct movie.
led by Palpatine and Vader.
I don't even know who that first guy is.
Wait, who's
That's
Palpatine?
the Emperor.
Did we see him?
No, he's not in the
Not
first one.
yet. Emperor Palpatine.
We're all learning something.
He's the guy running the whole shebang. Although he's the head of the Senate.
Wait, hold on. Is Palpatine
Until it gets dissolved 5 minutes
Right.
in. Yeah.
Right.
is Palpatine the one who has got the like white crinkly?
Yes.
Yeah, when he's the emperor, yes, but then did you guys catch him at the part where he like is human and he's like the head of the Senate? Because he looks
She's
like a
never
regular
no.
guy.
She's no chance.
No, not a chance.
Alex is like, don't ask her such
Because
things.
he looks normal, like when he's
You seen
that, when
this
he's
movie?
not the emperor.
He's not in this movie.
Okay, no. I know this movie that I saw last night.
I don't know that.
But anyway, after they trick the police, they go into the bar, and when C-3PO walks in, an alarm goes off.
ChatGPT agrees with you, Alex. It is technically against the Jedi Code to use mind control.
Hold on,
Yeah.
it says peace over aggression. Okay, so they didn't kill the cop.
Yeah.
They peacefully sent him on his way.
But knowledge over manipulation.
Respect
he
for
did
free will.
manipulate him and
Oh,
free
Respect
will.
for free will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Free
oh,
will.
and only use for defense, never attack. Okay,
Right.
so what happened with C-3PO?
Well, they go in, and an alarm goes off.
It
and
is
the
an
guy's
act-
like, "Hey, get that thing out of here. We don't let their kind in here." Which is
Oh yeah, their kind.
yeah,
Oh my god! And by that he means
droids.
Droids. The second class citizens.
so.
if
But
you
they're
wanna call
robots.
them
Now
that.
here's the thing: they are robots that were built. They are not like a race of people.
Right.
So could you discriminate against something that is literally just like, hey, I don't allow like washing machines
Well, it's
to be
interesting
rolled
because
into my bar?
You're kind of bringing up the entire AI argument
Well, I was
of
gonna
what
say-
exists right now.
I know I want to tread lightly because I try to stay on AI's good
But
side.
also-
Right.
Yeah, don't ask ChatGPT about that
Right.
one.
Right.
But also, these robots that were built, they are feeling things, right? They are very much,
They're sentient.
They're definitely sentient. Yeah.
right? Like,
But so like, how does that change? Like here, I don't know. if you have a robot, if you build a little droid, I guess they don't become
Well,
sentient.
and okay, a plug for another movie that I thought was great, AI by Steven Spielberg
Yes, I
was
remember with,
fantastic. That little
what's his
boy,
face? Yeah.
it was. Who's the kid?
Haley
Was it
Joel
Haley
Osment.
Joel
Haley Joel
Osment?
Osment.
Right, he played him. Great
Oh, watch
movie.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Great
Listen to
movie.
it.
Listen to our episode.
Well,
on
but I'll
Sixth
tell you,
Sense.
Haley Joel Osment is tremendous, and he was great in that
He's great
movie
in
too.
anything
He
he's
really
in.
is, and that was
do
great.
no wrong.
And but it's the same kind of idea. So it's a sentient creature now, even though he was created. So now you're in this gray area, right? Like,
Yeah.
are
Well,
you
did
discriminating? But they clearly treat them as you know,
Lower class citizens.
lower class slaves. Like,
is it
part of what they're doing and what the desert people are doing, they're scavenging for the parts
Yeah.
and stuff, and they're like selling them at ridiculous prices.
So-
That's how they got R2D2.
It is a private business, though. It is a private business.
What is scavenging?
Private business
this-
can't. I guess they're
this
not. They're not a protected class. So I guess you're
They're
free
not a
to.
protected class because you
Mm-hmm.
have like you can say I don't let blonde people into my bar. Like you're allowed to
Mm-hmm.
say like this is a type of person.
I can see why a
But
bar
so
would
it
do
depends
that.
on whether we're going to classify them as a protected class, which would be like a specific like sex or race or
Mm-hmm.
you know like it has to be one of the protected classes. You can't like I can own a business and say I don't allow people under 5 feet here or something. You know what I mean? Like you're allowed to.
Oh,
do
that would be fun.
Yeah.
Wait, so they build these robots, this galaxy. Are they situated on one planet?
Yeah,
Are they
it's a
all
great
throughout
question.
the
No,
galaxy?
they're everywhere.
They're
They're
everywhere.
So they're
Everybody
not one
uses
group
them.
of people.
And so are they built, they're already built in their
They all have
fully
different
grown
purposes.
stage,
So,
right?
Yeah.
think about it. R2D2 was built to do certain things. C3PO was actually built as an interpreter, right? So he knows,
Right, he knows
a
all the
bazillion
languages.
different
by,
languages.
by Darth Vader, just so
Yeah.
we're clear.
So,
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
So they
That's
all have
interesting to
different.
know.
The droids have different purposes.
Well, and also they're
so-
like clearly not one group of people. Like R2D2 just like goes beep boop beep boop, and then like C3PO's
But
British,
he's handy
you know,
dandy.
like so
He's
it's like
got all
very
those little
different.
gadgets that come out and he hacks into places.
Right.
and
He's
a little
opens
Swiss
whatever.
Army knife that
He's
rolls around,
fantastic.
yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah, I just don't know if they'd be classified as one group of people.
So again, so they're all built. So C3PO and his other C3POs are all built with the same skills, and then
No, I mean they can be built with whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're like a computer. You can put whatever you want in a computer.
So I feel like wouldn't it be akin to that? That I'd be like, hey, I don't allow computers in my establishment.
well, I don't know because your computer's not living and feeling, and
Right.
it doesn't get sad.
I know it's interesting. I think that
That's a good point.
I think the movie was definitely made to
know.
make us think about certain things.
Animals
and when
can
you
get
say
sad, and
they're not
you
allowed
say no
in,
dogs in this bar.
well, you think about like the discrimination that went on against other people, like here, like against black people, against things
but-
like that, and what they rebelled against. It's like I think it's just made to make
Yeah.
you think like, hey, like something's not right here, you know?
Right. All right. I mean,
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Makes
So
you-
let's
makes you
talk
think.
about what are they
Makes you
look-
think. Makes you
What
think.
are they there looking for?
I
Well,
wouldn't
yeah,
know.
answer your own
Obi-Wan
questions.
and
I
Luke
wouldn't know.
go
I
into
didn't
Mos
watch
What are they
Eisley.
looking for?
They're looking.
they're
They're looking for a
looking
pilot to take them to Alderaan.
Exactly.
Oh, and they find Han.
They-
Okay.
And can we talk about Han and Greedo
Yeah.
for a minute?
You guys
because
do it.
we can. Because
I don't remember
that,
someone named Greedo.
you know,
Who's that?
Greedo was the little alien with the
creep-
spiky.
him,
There was a
sure.
cause alien, basically.
him.
The what?
Look at his head. It's got the things coming up.
Oh yeah, all right.
Okay,
that
so
guy.
yeah, guys, talk about them.
Discuss amongst yourselves.
Well, they're having a
I've got-
convo.
I've got some snacks.
I think the most controversial part is when they're having a disagreement. Han shoots him.
Oh, I remember that.
And
In a
then
bar?
in the bar, they're sitting at the table.
Surreptitiously
And
too.
underneath,
Yeah.
he's got the gun down here.
So-
you guys can see me down here.
Well, this is something they've tried to address because in the original he just shoots him in cold blood.
That's
basically.
it.
Like
Boom.
right out, he just shoots him
first.
Yes.
Right.
And then in the special
Harrison
edition,
Ford
yes,
does.
he just shoots first. He kills him just because he thinks he might be about to like do something.
Right.
In the special edition, they
Shoot first,
changed
ask
it.
questions
They
later.
changed it. It was very controversial.
Yes, so
Interesting,
that
why?
Greedo shoots so that he doesn't look like a cold-blooded killer.
They had Greedo attack first so that he could do
So
it in
this is a
self-defense.
question of like self-defense versus premeditated murder.
I think it's
basically,
bullshit
like-
though because Han is supposed to be. He's a smuggler.
Yeah.
He's not a good guy.
Which is also we should talk about the legalities of that. In his
Yeah.
entire
Absolutely. I mean, the
So
fact that
with-
he's a smuggler, but he's a
so
bad guy.
They changed this movie so that it seems more self-defense than it does. But is it self-defense if he doesn't know that the other guy is preparing to shoot him? Because he
He
wasn't
says
out in the open.
he says I've been waiting for this for a long time. Like it sounds like he's about to.
Would that be enough to?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Under I think any court, at least in the United States would
If
say that's not enough for
If I
self-defense.
say to you, I've been waiting for this for a long time.
I might
like,
think she's about
Well,
to hurt me,
there's
but
some
that's
context
not.
before that, but yeah, it makes it sound like he's about to.
Do you remember we have a court case that we always use in domestic violence cases and restraining order cases? What's what you know which one I'm talking about? Where the husband said to the wife, "I'm
gonna
gonna
bury you."
And the court found that it wasn't. He didn't actually mean he was going to kill her and bury her.
Yeah, it was more like
Yeah, it was more
he was
like, I'm
speaking
gonna bury you in
figuratively,
court,
like I'm gonna
like,
bury
yeah.
you.
And
your
for what it's worth,
reputation.
those matrimonial courts, they aren't real courts anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Wow.
We're talking two
Wow.
Okay,
matrimonial
Alex, those are
lawyers.
fighting
Yikes.
words right
Alex,
about now.
tell us what you did for the first 2 years of your legal career.
I blacked out. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Alex was a divorce lawyer in his past life.
And then you like hightailed it out of there.
That's because he was weak and couldn't hack it.
Oh.
That's true. It's rough.
It is. It's rough.
You might say the force is not strong.
No,
This one.
not strong.
See this? I'm using the lingo.
You did it. You learned.
I'm so proud of
Thank you
you.
so much.
Super
I'm
proud.
trying. Okay, so it's basically a question of like whether or not it's self-defense. I would say it's not. Even
How do
with-
you feel about it? I didn't like it. I thought it was stupid. Like I didn't.
The
think,
change or the
yeah,
original?
the change.
Yeah, it was stupid. He
It was
looked
stupid, right?
I mean, it might have been illegal, but it was cool as hell. So like, I would have definitely left in the original.
Right.
Yeah.
He does something even different in the current version we just watched.
What
I
is
don't.
that? Oh,
yeah?
He says
Wait, there's,
something.
like, a third version
There's
now?
like a new one now that I hadn't even seen before.
And so what do? They fix it with CGI?
Yeah, basically, they just
Probably.
keep changing it. George Lucas will go in and change it every few years.
And so what's the version now?
He just yells something and then gets shot. So I don't think he shoots first anymore. They shoot like simultaneously. Like
I think it's more of a
They're thinking about
yeah.
this the way we're thinking about this. Basically, is like, how can we make Han not be a bad guy?
A bad guy.
But you know what? But I don't mind. Like he's a bad guy, guys. Like get over it.
So that's
He's a
the thing,
bad
like,
guy.
he is
And
not
then there's
an
a
upstanding
But
citizen.
then there's a redemption arc.
Right.
So what's the,
You
like,
can't start out good and then still get a redemption arc. You need to start out bad.
Right.
He is a smuggler. Like that is. I mean, there's
That
legal
is
issues there. You know,
illegal.
possession of illegal weapons, carrying unregistered weapons.
Yes.
I would
He's
assume
he's like the Lord of War. He carries weapons. Yes.
What?
Kind of.
Like
He's a
Nicolas
smuggler.
Cage.
Yeah, I mean, he's working for Jabba. He's got a
got
price
me,
on his
no?
head. He's
That
trying to
is
just
true.
make ends meet.
Oh, and
Guys,
let's-
I didn't watch the movie. I'm
Let's
trying
talk
to
about-
chime in any way I
Okay,
can.
Jabba does not appear in this movie, although
He does.
Does he?
And yes, he originally didn't, and then again, George Lucas went back in.
Oh come on, George!
Yeah.
You're
Where-
fucking with me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we got to that scene, it was right after they left that like little bar.
Yeah. Also, another guy got his arm cut off for saying, "I don't like your face." Just there were
Why-
multiple
hold
killings.
On,
in
but
the
why
movie.
is George?
Yeah.
Why
There's
is
a lot of
George
stuff
Lucas
happening there.
messing with what was a masterpiece?
Perfection.
His thing was
Right.
like he couldn't make the movie he wanted with the technology he had. So then when he saw like Jurassic Park and how the CGI looked, he's like,
I want to fix
I'm
it.
gonna go back and I can fix it. You
And
know?
he's really good friends with Steven Spielberg, and they
Yeah.
helped each other on each other's movies, and it's there's a whole you should
Which
dive
is
into it. It's a really cool history
Fine,
between
but
the two.
I mean,
But
I
now
don't
he's
know.
changing
Like you're
the-
changing the story
Right.
now. Like that's.
Right. So then Jabba the Hutt like shows up like outside, and he's like talking to Han, and Alex was like, "This he shouldn't be in this movie."
No, he should not.
I was like, "Yikes!"
I don't remember him until the third
Controversial.
movie.
Controversial.
What's your feeling about Jabba, Diana? Just
Okay,
curious.
I shared this story with them earlier, a couple of months ago, and I don't remember you said there's context. I don't remember there being context, but somehow in conversation, Alex decided to tell me, he's like, you know, who you remind me of when you talk is Jabba the Hutt, and I was like, well, I don't remember seeing Star Wars. This is like I saw it once 10 years ago. He made me, and I hated it, and so I was like, all right.
And you
he's like,
stayed married to her? Like
know.
what?
He married
It's
her
been
in
tough.
the first
I don't
place.
get
really,
it.
She didn't like music when we got married.
No, I like
She
music.
still doesn't like
I
music.
I like
She's come
music.
around.
I like music.
Ask her how she feels about live music in a restaurant.
Oh, I hate live music in a restaurant.
Oh my
Don't
God.
play at me when I'm trying to eat and have a conversation. It's too loud.
Wow.
If I want that, I'll go to a concert.
All right, old lady. Oof.
There's a time and a place.
Tell us about
Anyway,
Jabba.
and so I was like, I don't know what he sounds like. And then he's like, oh, let me play you a clip. And so he turns on like a video, and we're sitting there and we're waiting. Like there's like 40 seconds of like other stuff happening before he opens his mouth. And I'm expecting a really annoying voice, and instead it was just fart noise coming out of this slug's mouth. And I was like, that is way worse than what I expected. I was very offended by that.
It went better than I could have expected.
I was like, what? So that's
I gotta
something
tell
to
you.
remember.
I gotta tell you a funny, right? So Mel Brooks did a parody of this called Spaceballs,
Yes.
which is hilarious.
I do remember that as
And
a
in
kid.
Spaceballs, it was Pizza the Hut.
Oh yeah, which
It
would
was
have
a giant pizza thing.
Are you familiar with that one
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, he dies because he gets locked in a car and eats himself.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was
because he's a pizza.
Yeah, he's a pizza.
That's fantastic.
There's a lot of layers
is
to it.
amazing. I don't think I could convince you guys to do that, but it's
No.
so funny.
Okay, so all right.
I'm gonna try to.
So
If I can't
smuggling
contribute,
of
I'm
illegal
gonna try to really
weapons,
try
that's
to-
illegal in the United States. If you have like unregistered like weapons of a certain caliber, like that's going to, be a problem for you. With the law,
Depends on the state.
well, yeah, I guess depends on the state.
That's true.
And depends on the weapon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And then just going back, we said like Leia stole the plans for this
did,
Death
for the
Star.
Death Star.
Now, isn't that theft of government property? Because that belongs to the Empire. You're saying the Empire is like a government.
Yeah, she didn't.
It's like
she didn't,
espionage.
She didn't
It's
personally.
espionage.
She didn't personally steal them, but she was.
Involved.
She acquired them
There's a
down the
great
line.
side story that comes out about that. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
That one
So
was
we're
great.
not even going to talk about that.
Alex knows what I'm
side-
talking about, but
Yeah.
that was one of my favorites actually. I love that.
But
one.
it is theft of classified government materials. It's espionage. I would think that there'd be charges brought against her because she's stealing government plans that are classified.
That she then hides in R2D2 with the message
Right.
for Obi-Wan. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're
Oh,
my
yeah, I saw
only
that.
hope.
I know that one from the first one. I know that from the first one.
And I think the only part of this that might be relevant to my expertise is like she stole a bunch of documents from Death Star people. If they had like the names of the contractors and everything involved and like employees, that might be like a GDPR violation, a data breach.
Yes.
And like Space Germany is going to come like get on your ass for that.
Space Germany. Because Alex, like me, we both do digital privacy law in our everyday jobs, and I followed his footsteps into that area. And so yeah, that would be a privacy, like a data privacy breach.
See?
And yes, wow.
See you guys later.
nice.
Here
I'm
is
impressed.
My job
I'm impressed.
done. Yeah, it would be like a GDPR issue. And that would kind of fall on kind of Death Star people because they didn't have accurate or sufficient protection of this classified information.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of people got killed stealing it, so it was like pretty sufficient, but they still let it happen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still, people did get killed for
So let's talk about the design flaws in the Death Star, shall we?
Can we sue them for whoever made this thing for some kind of product liability?
Wait, what was the-
given
what
that
were
they
the
had
pro- what was the
one
issue with
very
that?
specific defect that allowed the rebellion to destroy it.
I don't think I caught that in the movie. Can you explain
Yeah, they
that?
found a flaw where like if you
fantastic.
shoot a gun at this one spot, it'll do a chain reaction and just kill
It's
everybody.
like it's Achilles' heel.
Yeah, exactly.
But Alex, describe the meeting.
Oh, it just, like,
where they
implodes.
put no, but I want to talk about the meeting where they discussed this design flaw and they put the plans up and they're projected on the wall and everybody's there and Admiral Akbar and it's so cool. You've got all these people from all over the galaxy that
Some
are
from
sitting there
Mexico.
planning this little tiny
The good guys?
thing.
These are the good guys?
Yeah, it was like computer graphics from 1977. It's like a
rebellion.
bunch of dots like
But it was
spinning
cool.
around. Yeah, it looked great.
It was cool.
Wow.
He's like, it looked great. It was fine.
Yeah.
That's great.
So basically, it's
That's a
designed
product
in such
liability
way
issue.
That if you hit the one spot, it all just like implodes.
Apparently, it'll set off a chain reaction throughout the core of the Death Star and will blow it up.
And they
So
didn't. They
it was
didn't think
about. I
to.
need to remember the dimensions though. It was tiny. It
2
was
meters.
2 meters. So it was tiny. And so then all the pilots are arguing.
Oh
about,
yeah, and they're
this
trying
is
to get it, and then they
impossible,
could
Yeah.
get killed.
And what does Luke say?
Not much bigger than the Womp Rats back in Beggar's Canyon.
There we go. Thank you, Alex.
What does that mean?
But they're about
It
2 meters.
basically means,
Oh, it means
that
that you can aim and shoot.
I've shot those womp
Yeah, Luke
rats.
is
I can
Luke's
do
a
that.
redneck, and he goes
Yeah.
around shooting varmints in the local.
Varmint.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like a varmint.
He
kind of.
shoots. He shoots
Okay.
varmints. Yeah.
Oh, and that's like when it explodes, and I said to you, "Oh, microorganisms or something."
Yeah, they were sparks, but
They were
yeah.
sparks. And I was like, "Are those microorganisms?" He's like, "Nope, those are sparks." And I was like, "Great, I'm
my
really
God.
following this movie."
But that is a pretty significant product defect. And in the movie, they actually bring it up. Like, what about that? And they're like, oh, no, it's not a big deal. That
Oh,
This is,
so
hold
that's
on,
like
it's like it's
lot
a
of
military
liability.
base,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's a military base. So someone
Yeah.
builds this military base with this major defect.
major design defect. As
and
far
that
as
was
I'm concerned.
accidental. That wasn't
But
like
they
some.
said it wasn't a big deal.
But so was it
Because who was
accidental?
gonna
If they knew about this defect ahead of time,
They did.
they didn't have time
I
to
don't
like
think-
fix it.
I don't think they did. I think they realized when they saw what they were trying to
Oh,
do.
after- yeah.
Yeah, they were like, oh, there's a risk. You might want to
So
evacuate.
they didn't know early enough that they could have like corrected it.
They told the guy in charge that they knew it was about to happen, and he had time to evacuate. And he said, "You guys are pussies. We're staying."
Oh wow!
Is that what he said?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the exact
It
dialogue.
was sounded better.
mean,
he has a British accent, so it sounded better.
It sounded better. Yeah.
Say it in a British accent.
I really can't.
And so then everyone dies because of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that guy dies too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, his estate could be sued, at least, for that. Because
Right, because he was warned.
he
And
was warned,
failed to
and
act.
he failed to act, and he put everyone at risk, and they lost their lives, and now his estate is on the hook for that. I mean, I don't know if he has an estate.
Assuming he's got an estate.
He probably does.
Okay, so that's good to know. All right, so that's big. That's a big
Is it?
issue. I don't know. I mean, it's probably liability.
Guys, can we talk about? It's not about movie one, but we have to talk about it. We cannot
What?
ignore this. That they took the babies away from Darth Vader.
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
I'm gonna bring it back.
Fine.
Do it.
Go.
Well, I mean, we have to discuss the fact that he had no idea. Did he know
Well,
that the
as
children?
family
No.
law attorney, she's right. We
We
That's
should.
have
true.
to discuss
We
it.
should
Do it.
bring
We did
this up.
GDPR. You guys
They
go with
basically
that.
decided that Anakin.
Who knows that babies are coming, but he's told that the babies die.
Yeah.
in childbirth or something, he
Yeah.
doesn't even meet them, right?
No,
Right.
they lied to him. They said the babies died, and so did Padme.
And she did die because
And
she
she
was
did
sad.
die because she
Got
was
it.
sad.
Diana has a big problem.
She's pretty
with that.
much like,
Yeah.
just as bad as the parents in Parent
Parent
Trap,
Trap.
who were like monsters. Go on.
So they decide they're gonna hide. They deprive him of his parental rights. Because he
Absolutely.
should have had his kids. So they deprive
Now,
him.
I
Well, if there's a
understand-
serial killer, don't you try to?
But there's
In
a
the best
process,
interests
right?
of the kids,
But
sure.
there's an entire
There's
case.
hearings.
There are hearings to
They're in-
determine whether the welfare
They
of the
should-
children are
They
like
should be in the custody of the state.
right.
I mean, it was like J-Lo in Enough when she fled with her kid.
I hear these two movies compared to each other all the time.
Wow.
Because she had enough. Yeah. Because there should be like
But
actual
no, in all
hearings.
seriousness, yes, absolutely. It was clearly in the kids' best interests for
But there should be a process.
Darth not to know that they exist and for them to be saved. But you're right. He was deprived of his parental rights.
Correct.
He's then informed that he has these kids. Now let's assume he finds out that he has
Question.
these kids before they're legal
Where are you
adults.
getting that he's informed?
well. He
No, but
finds out later.
she's saying
Well,
like
Luke
what?
has his last name. They didn't change his
That's
last
true.
name.
They didn't change
What do
his
you
name.
mean?
It's pretty
well, his
obvious.
name is Luke
He's
Skywalker.
Skywalker.
Oh, and what's
Wait a
Anakin
minute.
Skywalker.
Oh, I'm thinking Vader. I don't know.
No, he's Anakin
Wait,
Skywalker.
you're right.
Early
That
movies.
really
I didn't
comes
see the
first.
They
early
hid
movies.
him. He didn't know he existed, but they probably should have changed the name.
Yeah,
You
right.
could
be
say
fair,
so.
yeah,
yeah.
Kind of a giveaway.
Yeah.
What if they're under 18 when Darth discovers that he has these kids? Can someone come after Darth for child support?
Jimmy Smits.
Well, if Jimmy Smith's like adopted Leia like fully, and
Yeah.
these people like the desert
I'm gonna
couple
assume they did.
adopt like Luke, then you're not going after the birth father for child support because you've adopted the child.
And he's
True.
given up his parental rights.
Yeah, but question: is I don't know, Anakin and whatever Natalie Portman, are they married? When
They were married.
They were
were.
married.
No, they were.
Okay.
They had like this really cute ceremony.
Oh, okay.
the
They were
original
married, and
movies,
then they
did.
got pregnant and all that. Because
Yep.
I was gonna say, otherwise, it was like if she just like hooked up with him, like there's like
You'd have to
there's a
prove
plausible
paternity.
deniability of like maybe it's not the
Okay,
father.
no. She was a queen. She's not gonna hoe around and do that kind
Queens
of
hoe
thing.
around. Queens can hoe
Didn't Queen
around.
Elizabeth I like have a reputation?
I don't know. I'm not into the royal family
I'm
that
not
much.
putting that out there
She's
right
into
now.
the
Yeah, but
royal
I'm not saying
family.
that. I'm not saying that on record.
She doesn't want to blow a chance that one day she still might get to marry one
I
of
still
them.
might.
Yeah. Okay.
No, there's some like I don't know single cousins or something. I don't know.
Except you're not single.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
If one of them became, I think we'd have.
I know.
It's a good thing you know divorce lawyers.
Yeah, it's fine. No, but like, so I guess okay, they're married, so there's no issue about like,
Proving paternity.
he doesn't have to prove paternity.
But
or
also
anything.
the force is so strong, clearly.
yeah, but that
it's
doesn't
his
hold up
kid.
in court. You can just be like, I can feel that's my kid. That's not a paternity test.
No, you're right. It's not.
No, but he could have asked for a paternity test.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Okay.
If my force matches your force, I'm related to you type of thing?
No, he could have said,
Oh, he
I
could
know
have
that
asked for
she
a
was
paternity
pregnant.
test.
He could have asked for a paternity
but
test.
the assumption is that like these people, let's say these people actually adopted Luke and Leia. Like
Yes,
okay,
which didn't
fully.
they?
I don't know. Let's say there was a legal process and they were fully adopted. And now let's say the dad thought that like that the mother had miscarried or that the mother like the babies died in childbirth, and then he finds out later these babies are alive. Like, are there cases out there where like a father comes back into the picture and it's like that kid that you adopted is my kid,
my kid.
and the mother never told me about the existence of this child, and I want
to be involved.
Yeah,
So-
and it depends on the state too. What
Like
the
what
procedure
would
actually
a
is.
court do in that case?
Well, it's very, very hard. I mean, in this case, they're over legal
right.
age,
Like let's assume these
right?
are like 10-year-olds.
But we have had cases where the kids were little and were not told who real dad was, and it's a big problem because the bio dad comes in and says, "I'm paying child support, but this kid has no idea who I am."
Oh, but not even child support. Like he's not even aware of the existence of the child, becomes aware of the existence of the child, but that child has now been adopted by another family.
Diana, I think the answer is the court's got to make a determination as to what's in the best interest of the kids. Because if they've been adopted and they've been adopted for 10 years and they've been living with this family.
And they don't even know that they're adopted, maybe.
Exactly. And the court may determine that too much time's gone by, irrespective of the
Do you
fact that
really-
the dad didn't know, and they're not going to open up that can of worms.
Do
They
you
could
think
make that
so?
determination. I
Do
do.
you think so?
I think they could.
You think that a court would say,
Are they really going to
That-
disrupt a legal, an
No,
adoption
I
because
hear
of that?
you.
I don't know.
Like
I think
adoption
it's gonna
has been
depend.
finalized for
Yeah.
years.
Right. I think there's a case to be made that they shouldn't, and it's possible a judge could say no. We're going to leave these kids be. You know.
Is the hypothetical dad Darth Vader in the story?
Yeah, but okay, but let's just assume Darth Vader is not Darth
"Is
Vader.
not a serial killer,"
okay,
as you
alright.
said.
But also, like serial killers also deserve like the legal process of this.
I don't know.
Do they?
Josh,
You're not stripped of
delete
your
that.
due process rights
It's true.
just because
No,
you
it's
are a
true.
psychopath.
I
who's,
have
like,
to
blown
agree.
up a planet.
I have to agree with
Right?
you. Yes,
You-
I have to. I
you
mean, I
have a
want
right to due pro- you have a
Look,
constitutional
the moral
right to
argument
due
is different
process.
than your due process.
Right, I'm not talking morally. I'm just talking. This is my client. He deserves.
and hold on, to
he
clarify,
has a right to
again,
due
I'm
process.
jumping into the prequels now. Does Anakin turn fully Darth when he realizes that Natalie Portman is dying? Is that what sets him
Yeah,
over
when
the
does
edge?
he become bad?
Pretty
or
much.
does she die because he turns? Or is it all kind of like happening simultaneously?
It's kind of all happening at once. I'm trying to
But
remember.
isn't it
Yeah,
what sets
it's
him
like
over
a-
the edge that she's dying?
Yeah, it's basically that he thinks that she's betrayed him
Oh,
to,
right.
to
Right.
Obi-Wan, I think. And so he like basically chokes her with the Force, and that kind of I think induces her
Labor?
child. Yeah, and though that's when like he and Obi-Wan fight, and he gets chopped in half basically, and
Right.
then turns into Darth
Anakin
Vader.
does.
Anakin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but that's
remember.
why if you look and well, you got to jump ahead to
I
the
mean,
end.
I'm not seeing this
That's
video.
why Return of the Jedi at the very end, Darth Vader when he takes off his mask, he's only got like kind of half a face. He's like
Right.
half droid.
I've
half
never
human.
seen him take off his
because
mask.
in Revenge of the Sith, Anakin gets fucked up.
Yeah. He falls in lava.
And
He falls in
He does. He
lava?
falls in lava, and they rebuild him with some robot parts and shit. So
Yeah, you
he's
can't
like,
survive
He's like half
lava.
human, half robot.
Which is
Like,
how he gets James Earl Jones's voice.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome.
That's cool. It's like yesterday. I was like, "Did you know that that's not James Earl Jones in the costume?"
It is
The voice?
not.
And I was like, "Yes, I know that." I was like, the whole movie was me
James
just
Earl
telling
Jones
me-
is just voices. He's Vader. He's Mufasa. Like he's
okay.
whole.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we have?
Okay, wait. So that's we've decided. Okay, he has no parental rights because the adoption is
Darth
fully
Vader
done.
has
I'm
no
gonna go with
parental
that.
rights.
But he
Yeah.
does get
That's
a right
the
to due
headline.
process otherwise, and we cannot strip him of that right. It's the 14th Amendment. Like, we're not taking that away from him just because he blows up a planet. Unlawful detention and torture of Leia.
Yes.
That's illegal. So it's like unlawful imprisonment, kidnapping,
I mean,
and put down.
she is a terrorist.
I mean,
Has she been defined as a
Yeah, she's been
terrorist?
defined as a
I thought
terrorist.
she's working for the good side.
She is, but the
in
good
theory,
side,
but they're the
government.
rebellion against the government. It's like a coup. So
and also it's like if she's detained, then on top of that, torturing her, it's like that goes against like the Geneva Convention.
Why does Jabba the Hutt hold her
Yeah, great question.
in a gold bikini?
Yes,
but
I heard that's a different movie, but
that's
I know
later.
that happens. I know
that's
that
later.
happens.
Well, because Han Solo gets frozen in the carbonite, and Jabba's got him hanging on his wall as his
Right.
little decor.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And Leia loves Han. You find that out. Do you find that? Not so much. We find that out later. They kind of fall more in love in Empire, but they're in love.
Yeah, I did know
She goes to Jabba disguised as a bounty hunter to try to bargain for Han Solo's
In a
life.
bikini?
No.
Okay.
No,
She's
Jabba
dressed.
puts her in a bikini.
She's dressed as a bounty
That
hunter.
is so yuck. That's predatory. Go on.
And she bargains for him. She gets him. And then as he's being decarbonated and coming out, she takes off her mask and she's all like, he's like, who's there? He can't see. And she's like, someone who loves you. It's all dramatic, right? So you like my reenactment?
Yeah, it was really
analogy?
good.
Yeah. So
That's great.
So then Jabba,
I heard this voice.
I
This voice when you played Peanut. That was him. I think that's me.
And Jabba comes and goes, "Oh, suckers, I got you both." So then he imprisons Leia
Brilliant.
in the bikini, chained to his side, and Han goes there. And then I remember when Luke comes and he fights the big monster to try and save everybody. It's a whole big drama.
It's a whole big thing.
But I remember seeing that in the movie theater. That was fun.
That's awful.
Jabba, despite
Return of the Jedi was great.
being a giant worm, is into human women. I think is the takeaway there.
That's strange. I don't
Do
like
we
that.
address that, or we just
Okay,
do
no,
we
I'd
just
say
move
let it
past
go.
it?
Move
There was
past.
an entire
Move past.
generation of Gen X men that drooled over Leia in that
In the-
bikini
oh,
and
bikini.
had the
Yeah.
picture up on their wall.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's-
yeah.
My husband and his friends still talk about Leia in the bikini.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard
Justifiably,
things.
yeah.
I've heard words of this.
And I can't fault them. I'm like, no, she looks
No,
good.
she looks
Like,
great.
I can't.
She's fantastic. Crushing it.
Yep.
I was disappointed in this movie that at the end it really looks like there's a wedding. It's like there's an altar. She's wearing a beautiful white dress. Her hair is now different. She's got really nice makeup on, and they're walking down this aisle. I was like, "Is this a wedding?" Because I love when a movie ends with a wedding. Like
Wow.
like Clueless.
They
And then-
crushed you.
And then he's like, "No," and I was like, "Yes, it is," because they kept going. I was like, "This is a wedding," and then he's like, "No, it's not." And then they got medals, and I was like, "This sucks."
Everybody got medals
Except for
but
Chewie.
Chewie.
Now there we could maybe
Let's
talk
do
about
it.
there being
They
a
discriminated
discrimination
against.
issue.
Oh.
Because he is part of like there are other Chewies out there.
There are other
He is
chicks.
of a race.
Yes.
He's the Wookiee. He's a Wookiee.
He's a Wookiee.
The race of the Wookiees.
Yes.
I knew
They're
that.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And he's Han Solo's
wait,
sidekick
hold
on
on.
the
Is the
Millennium
only reason-
Falcon.
The only reason he doesn't get medals because he's a Wookiee?
Do the robots
know,
get medals?
Oh my god, so only humans get like medals even though everybody works
Discrimination.
together?
Yeah, it's pervasive in this galaxy.
This is awful.
Yeah, there's a
Do
lot.
they fix that?
I believe
In
he
the-
gets one in the most recent movie.
Is that right?
I think
Because
so.
of like a letter writing campaign.
Yes.
That we started. Yeah. Because like the arguments can be made about
Justice for Chewie.
the robots, it's like fine, they were like built and they're like, you know, they're the washing machine. But like this is an actual like creature that has like is of a race of other creatures,
Yeah.
and so now it seems a little more like a discrimination issue. So all right, well, there's nothing to do about that. But
I also love the fact that they kind of look like.
that's just a bad PR issue.
Yeah, but they.
Which
and
is why they changed it. I guess.
all the Wookiees kind of look like, Bigfoots. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They do.
When did the bears come out?
They're big hairy
The
bear
third
people.
one.
The third one. I love these little bears they've got.
Oh, the Ewoks?
Oh, yes,
my
the
God.
them.
There was a lot of
Why
controversy.
isn't there just an entire series of movies just about
There-
them and their
There-
daily lives?
There were.
Oh,
They're like little
there were
pandas.
things with the Ewoks.
And they were good? Were
No.
they good?
The Star Wars holiday special was about the Ewoks, and it's
Yeah.
genuinely considered one of the worst things
Yeah, I was going to
humanity's
say,
ever
they
done.
were not good.
All right, so can they redo something and give us like a whole like I don't know cool like series?
There was a
on
lot
like
of
Disney Plus.
Poo-pooing
But
about the Ewoks.
I like the bears.
And also the...
They're adorable.
Also the Jamaican Jar Jar Binks.
Oh wait, which
I mean, every character in that movie
Big.
was really racist.
really bad.
There was Watto, the Jewish alien.
there was a Jewish alien.
What's
Yeah.
it? What was his
He
jam?
legit was
Like did
just
he? You heard him like doing Jewish
doing
prayers?
real racist
doing
shit.
sort of like I'm
He
a
was just
cheap
like-
kind of like
Are we
yeah.
assuming he's Jewish because
Giant,
he's just cheap? Is that
Big
It was
nose.
also the
He's just trying to
accent in
swindle
which he
people. It's
spoke.
real bad.
Wait, have they changed that since
No.
then?
No.
Really?
No, they doubled
No.
down on that.
They
That-
doubled down. They doubled down.
Really?
Although
So
again,
they gave Chewie
drawing-
a medal, but they didn't change that.
But again, drawing
No,
the parallels.
I feel like they wanted to just leave that be.
I draw parallels
right.
between
No,
between
that's
Jews and
messed up.
Italians all the time because he sort of kind of sounds Italian-y sometimes too when he's talking.
Yeah.
Is
He sounds like a
Does he have
paisan.
like a Star of David? Like how are we identifying him as Jewish?
He's swarthy. Can I say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just look that up. Google that today.
I'm not Googling any of this. This is awful. Well, okay.
No, we're
that
gonna do
sucks.
another letter writing campaign to George Lucas.
I know, and be like, hello. That's
You gave Chewie the medal, but you didn't change this shit.
Yeah.
There's also extremely racist Asian aliens in that one too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they touch on everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. No, they really did. They really kind of
and
sucked.
it's not problematic. Like no one's upset about any of this.
People were, yeah.
And George Lucas said, I don't care, I've made billions.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that was
Pretty
it.
much.
That's crazy. I clearly
Wow.
didn't pay attention to any of it, really.
Anyway, well, so that's another issue that I had written down. Homicide Cantina, whatever.
Lots of it.
Oh, and
Lots
then-
of homicide and
Yeah,
shooting.
I mean-
Bounty hunters were a big thing in this universe.
Yeah, bounty
too.
hunt. Let's talk about the law of bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Bounty hunters aren't allowed to kill people.
Yeah.
They're just
You're allowed to
supposed
find someone who
And
has a
bring them in.
warrant and like bring them in.
like dog.
Like dog,
Yes.
comma, the bounty hunter. Right.
Double
And
G.
So in
But
the
in
original
this- in
Star
this-
Wars, we meet Boba Fett, who is the son of Jango
this is
Fett.
like in the prequels?
No.
No.
Cool.
In Star Wars, you don't remember
The one that I
Boba
saw?
Fett?
He was only in one quick scene in this.
Yeah,
don't know what
okay, you don't
I've seen.
remember him.
I've
Well, because
barely-
right, so you weren't familiar enough, but he was there.
I literally watched it last night and thought it was Han's
Here.
Solo, so I'm not. Oh, that one?
Wait, is Boba Fett a human?
He's a robot?
He is.
Oh, no.
So in the movie you watched, there's a scene where they line all the bounty hunters up.
Okay.
And they're like, go get him. And he says to Boba Fett, Vader says to Boba Fett, he's like, no disintegrations. So clearly, like,
they want
that's
the
on the
back alive.
table. That's on the table until they were told otherwise.
So
Wow. Wait, so you
Okay.
could, so again, that legally prohibited because if you're a bounty hunter, you don't just get to go and like disintegrate someone.
By the way, Disney Channel has a whole series about the bounty hunters because they've done a lot of.
Oh,
these
yeah. I'll
spin-off-
check that out tonight for sure.
yeah.
Movie night.
Actually, right now they've got the one Andor.
Andor.
And I want to watch that one.
Yeah,
it's
me
supposed to
too.
be really
totally
good.
same.
Yeah,
It's
me
supposed to
too.
be really good.
Let's
Yeah.
do that one up.
We should get together and watch it.
Let's do this. Let's totally
I'll bring the
do that.
popcorn.
Well, great. Yes.
great.
Bounty hunters cannot kill someone. You can only bring someone in. You can find them, and that's.
But
it.
also, not you can't kill someone. You can't disintegrate them.
Well,
They
yeah,
literally
obviously.
make
I
them
think murder is
evaporate.
murder is murder.
Although we have seen Han Solo just kill somebody who was a bounty hunter. So maybe they're justified because people like Han Solo are running around shooting first.
Oh, you're saying like it's like an assumption of like
Yeah.
Well, assuming you have a bounty on your head for not good reasons, right? So
Right, but that's like the same thing with like regular U.S. bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Like you are hunting someone who has like a warrant against them who is wanted by the police, but you still are not allowed to kill that person.
Well, right, and also the bounty hunters, they're hunting someone who has not yet been convicted. There's someone who jumped bail,
Oh.
right?
Yes, yes.
here,
Here,
Yes.
yes,
Here.
yes. Here, they're hunting someone who has
And the
jumped
movie,
bail.
I don't know how it is.
And
You can just put a price on anyone.
Oh, but that's not legal.
Yeah.
That's illegal.
Yeah, now that you put it that way.
the
Put it
opposite
that
of
way.
legal is
You
illegal.
1000% can't just be like, hate my neighbor, get him. Like that's not a bounty hunter. That's bad. That's illegal.
I mean,
That is
says
our
you.
legal assessment of this.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's all I had on my end. If anyone had any other legal issues,
Clearly, I do not.
no. Jenny's done with this one.
Jenny watched the wrong
Any
movie.
other legal issues that you
so-
felt needed to be discussed?
No, I think that's.
Just a lot of.
I feel
I
like
mean,
we
I could-
covered it a lot.
Yeah.
We did.
We did.
Covered a lot of a lot.
Any final thoughts from people who care about Star Wars that they'd like to say about Star Wars right now? Jenny, you and I.
Holds
Don't-
up.
Yeah, it
Holds
does.
up.
Yeah.
It does. It still gets new fans.
Wait, holds up in the sense of like you still love to watch it, or holds up like
Yeah.
I could see this happening.
No, I don't
all
think
the
anyone's.
above, yeah.
Holds up in the sense that every single time TBS does a marathon, it's on my TV. Like it's on.
I
like,
do have to say, my
I
husband
watch it all the time.
My husband does love it very much, and every time it's on, he will want to watch it.
Absolutely.
If it's on, you want to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched live TV in like 20 years,
Same.
but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But,
I also think it depends on like, but I think those of us that love it pass it on to
Yes.
the kids because my kids both love
I mean,
it too.
our oldest, he is obsessed with Star Wars.
Yeah.
He loves
My
Star
husband
Wars.
has tried to pass it on to my
He's only
daughter,
9.
and she's like lukewarm about it.
Yeah, I don't
Nice.
think our daughter will be as.
I don't know. The one thing I like about it is I think it has good, strong role models because not only was Leia kick-ass, but then Amidala was also kick-ass when they came out with the.
But she also gives up on
And
her
then
children
in-
because she's sad.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait,
But,
hold on a
but
minute.
she fought a lot,
Hold on,
and there
you
was a
said she
lot
had
that was going
Didn't
on.
she have a different name? You called her something else.
Padme Amidala. That's her
Oh,
name.
I don't-
Maron. Anyway, so then.
Can you just see Natalie
and
Portman?
then in
Yeah,
the
Natalie
newer
Portman.
because she's not really the character, she's just playing her, Jenny. And then in the newer movies that came out, you've got, and I'm gonna screw her up, that other girl, what's her name?
Oh, Ray.
Ray. So she was another
Is that
strong
Daisy Ridley?
lead, yes, strong lead in that series.
Oh,
of
really?
movies,
So they're
too.
wait,
they're about
so
strong women.
What are they
There
doing?
are some strong women
But it
characters.
always seems like there's like one woman, but then all the other fighters are all men. Like there's no other like there's very few
no,
women.
there are Jedi that are women.
I saw very few women in
There's
that
a
movie
whole
yesterday.
thing that with Anakin
first
when they
one's
did
not
the
many.
Clone Wars, Ahsoka became a huge character. She's a Jedi. She fights with him. She's got her own series, also on Disney Plus. So
What are
Yes,
they doing
Rosario
now?
Dawson.
Rosario Dawson.
What time frame are they in now
Rosario
with all the
Dawson,
stuff
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
coming
what's
out?
happening now? Where
Now
are we?
I think is like 15 to
They're
20
going back.
years after Endor. Well, the newest movies.
No, I thought Andor was a.
But hold on.
Oh, Endor is a prequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
way,
it's all,
way
it's all,
before.
these are all still prequels.
So we don't see anything
to-
after?
No, the new movies, the Daisy Ridley movies, are after.
Those are after.
They're after.
That's
Yeah,
different
she
than
tries
Andor.
to bring Luke
There's
back
too much
and-
happening. Andor and then Noka. Like there's
Noka, yeah.
There's a
And
lot
then
of
the
side-
Mandalorian
there's
is a thing
The
now.
Mandalorian is actually great. I love that movie, but it's a
Oh,
completely
wait.
side.
Mandalorian is the one where we
Thing.
meet Baby Yoda, yes?
Baby
But he's
Yoda.
not Baby Yoda.
He's Baby Yoda.
I know everybody calls him Baby Yoda. That is not his name.
Wait, so
Baby Yoda.
I got to get rid of my son's Baby Yoda socks? Is that what you're saying?
We have a lot of Baby Yoda stuff.
Yeah, it's Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Guys,
All right. So anyway, I think
it's
we've
time
ruined
to-
everything.
or his name is Grigu, I think it is. Something like that.
Great.
It's not. Anyway.
It's just Greg.
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 It's just Greg.
Greg of the Yoda.
Guys, this was fun.
This was fun. Alex, thank you for
Oh,
joining
you
us.
guys are such liars.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for bestowing your knowledge
Alex,
on us.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having the love that I also have, because these two clearly don't.
No, I have to say, Alex did not want to do this.
No.
And we forced him to.
Yes.
Mostly because I knew that Diana and I were going to muck this up real bad.
Yes. No.
You didn't do
So-
too badly.
I felt like I did pretty well.
You did pretty good.
She did watch the
I like,
correct movie.
hey, you're addressing that to her. What about me?
Because you didn't
Because you
watch
watched the
right
wrong movie.
But before I watched it last night, when like a few weeks ago, I told Alex, I was like, "Yeah, we're doing Star Wars." He's like, "Oh, that's gonna suck. You can't do that." No. And so I was like, "Okay, you have to join us." So, and then it became like a letter writing campaign actually,
Yes,
because
it's true.
I was just accosting him at home, and then Jenny was accosting him through text, and then we were giving
Wait.
updates
When I was picking up our kids at school,
Yes,
you were
I once
accosting me.
accosted him at school pickup.
at school pickup. And then I
Nice.
didn't even know about that. That's awesome. That's great. But
that's fantastic.
The end result is we had another
Yes.
huge fan with lots of
Yes.
knowledge to join
Yes.
Liz in,
And now
speaking
we
about
have
this
an episode
competently.
for May the 4th. Be with
Yes.
you all. We
Happy May 4th.
appreciate you guys joining us.
Happy holidays to all who
Thank you.
celebrate.
Absolutely.
Bye. See you next
Bye.
time. I'll watch the right movie.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.